All right, so with our Android Studio open, what's new? Let's go to File, New Project. And in this case here, notice we have an option of actually having a Google Maps as such. So let's start with that. Click that. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and say next. I'm going to say my maps. And we're going to keep at API 24 NuGet. That's totally fine. Say next. And voila, simply now we have our app. Now notice something very interesting here. The first thing that it shows is the XML Google Maps API XML. So now this is very important because they want our attention. They meaning the people who created this module for maps. So if you notice here, they give us very good instructions. Let's go close this down so we can take a look. So we have comment here that says to do. Before you run your application, you need a Google Maps API. Because Google Maps involves a lot of things, a lot of layers of libraries and so many things, it is still attached to Google Play services. Make sure, of course, that the emulator you're going to be using is targeting API 24 and above, which means also would have Google Play services. That's very important, right? On top of that, we'll have to go and get a Maps API, as they say here. Now it says here to get one, follow the link below the direction and press create at the end. So we can actually really copy this whole link here. How handy is that? And go to a browser. Let's go to our browser here. I'm going to just paste it all in, get enter. And it's going to take directly to where we're supposed to be. Oh, look at that. Isn't that great? Very good. So you should see something like this. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can actually see. So it says register your application for Maps SDK for Android and Google API console. So in this case here, you can see that we can create a new project. If you like me, I have a lot of different projects here, so you can actually pick one. But if not, you can just go ahead and create a project. Click continue. It will take to a new page. Takes a few seconds and voila. Okay, so now I can go ahead and say create API. We'll take another couple seconds. And there we go. It shows now we have our API. So this is our API. Now I want you to follow the same process so that you can get this API. Because if you try to copy my API here, you may end up with issues, and that is not cool. All right, so it's easy. Go ahead and get this API, which we're gonna take it and put in our project. But also notice you can restrict this API if you want. So if you are creating a production application means an app that you're going to be sent out to Google Play or Google Store or Play Store, as they call it nowadays, so people can start downloading it and using it. Of course, you would want to restrict it. But in this case here, we don't need to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. In fact, you can click in this copy button there. And I'm going to close this down. And whenever you want to come and get your credentials here, right, your APIs for anything Google related, you can get it here. So this is actually saved here forever, pretty much, right? So very good. So it says here that we then take that Google Maps API, and we put it here. So I'm going to just Control V, and voila, we have our API there. Okay. So it's very important that you don't change anything. So just copy and paste as it is. All right, so go ahead and save that. But also you can come down here and read that alternatively follow these directions. So you can actually copy this link and it will show you how to do that, the same thing, but in different steps. All right. Now we have package name here, all of these SHA certificates and all that stuff. We don't need them right now, but at some point when we need it, we will see, we will know where to come and get it. This will be for verification when we are ready to actually push this application to somewhere in the cloud or for people to start downloading and consuming their devices. Very good. So at this point, we should be good. Let's go to our map activity here because we want to take a look and see what's going on there. Well, notice maps activity extends fragment activity. What is a fragment? Well, fragment, think of it as just an activity, but with a little bit more things to it, a little bit more options, a little bit more properties. Okay. But most importantly here, we're implementing the on-map ready callback. At this point, you may realize there's a lot of implementation, meaning Android in general has a lot of interfaces classes because interfaces allow us to do all sort of things, right? Because interfaces, they tend to have this capability of having functions that are assigned, that are implemented at a class level. So the class is that implements them. Okay. So if this is an interface, That means then there's got to be an override method, which is on map ready. On map ready here, it passes our Google map, which is, notice at the top here, we have this mmap field. Okay, this Google map here, then we set it up with our Google map. So mmap now is being set up with the Google map that we get on our map ready when things are ready to go. And then look at this, it adds a little marker, which incidentally is in Sydney. Okay, so you say new lat lang, there is -34 for latitude and 151 for longitude. You remember latitude and longitude? Yes, you should. Very good. And then we just take our object Google Map and we add the marker. We add a few options to our marker there and we pass in a title. And then we move the camera so that it zooms in and gets the location on map. All right. The other thing I would like to, before we run this, let's go to our Gradle and see what has been added. You notice we have here this Android Google Maps, Play Services Maps, right? We went ahead and added it for ourselves because we started this project with a map activity. Very good. So this is looking really good. Very easy. Easier than the previous location app that we created for sure. Okay, it's time for us to take a run. Let's go ahead and run this and see what's going to happen. If all goes well, making sure that this device that we're running on has Google Play services and all that stuff that we've talked about. It's very important and it should all run. And hopefully we're going to see something here that is very exciting. And let's wait for it. Oh, voila. Look at that. It looks really, really good. Now, the cool thing here is if you click there, it's going to say marker in Sydney, which is exactly what was done here. Very good. Very good. So we were able to get our first map to work in Android. Wasn't hard, was it? All right, so the next video, we're going to continue working on our map here and learn a few new tricks here and there. All right, I'll see you next.